Hey everyone, what's up? So I just want to talk about this topic real quickly and real briefly. Um, I've done a lot of research and I do see some people bringing up MK Ultra and how the shooter was a sleeper essentially. Um, there's a lot going on with this situation. If you guys have been digging and doing research, I didn't want to do a real comprehensive video. Just like I knew the news was lying about the 200, 300 yards, anyone who's gone shooting can easily know he was, you know what I'm saying? He was pretty close. But we're also, with evidence starting to see that basically there was ample time to get Trump off the stage and everything else. And they were very aware that there was a guy who used a ladder to climb onto the roof. They let law enforcement know and everything else. And even the shooters were looking at this kid, pretty much. I know it was an inside job. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? They got exposed for the most part. But this is the sad part about the story, man. And this goes back to dissociative identity disorder. I knew I was going to do, or I told one of you guys that I was going to do a video on this, and we will in the future. But we see this in a lot of pagan religions. Dissociation, going into a trance, things like that. You're inviting influences. And when you read up on MK Ultra, they want people to be in that type of mindset. And they know that trauma is a good way to get people in those types of mindsets. Now, this kid, I can tell he probably did not feel valued. Only people who are willing to do what that kid did, they have low self-esteem and they don't feel valued and loved. And when you look at the Phoenicians, who were the Sidonians, but the Bible calls them the Canaanites, they made sure that their children went through a process where not only did they develop trauma at a young age, they were sexually assaulted and things like that. They were passed amongst their neighbors and crazy things. Plus, siblings also had to witness their brothers or sisters be ritualized sacrifice, guys. The demonic world and those who practice those type of cultic techniques, it used to be called multi-personality disorder, but they did change it to dissociative identity disorder. Even when you go to pop culture such as Black Ops, Call of Duty, one of the main characters has a dissociative disorder, and he actually assassinates one of the presidents. I think it was JFK. They intertwined that into one of their storylines in one of those games back in the day. It's no secret. People that are under that type of mental illness, if you want to call it that, that's what the secular world would call it, but you are more easily influenced and mind controlled. You're more so out of touch with reality and things like that. It's just something to consider. This is why I say that this country needs to go back to delivering strong family ties, things like that. It's sad that kids today still have bullies, and kids in general today, even in 20-year-old, I'm still going to call a kid. You understand? We don't fully develop till we're about 26. Females do develop quicker. But it's important for us to really understand that people, there's a lot going on with people today. Especially with males, they're heavily fragile, emotionally, they're not getting what they need. And this leads to this type of, sadness, such a sad event to occur. I just can't help but feel sympathy when I see these kids. And this guy went to the extreme of trying, I guess in his mind, he probably thought he was going to be a hero and heralded as, this guy that saved his country if he took out Trump. But I think there's more to it. Like I said, he was obviously assisted. He was allowed to shoot. They had their sights on him for a minute. We also know that he's been linked to BlackRock, guys. So it's just sad. But people that go through trauma, you understand, especially at a young age. And again, if they happen to be on medication, things like that, which this kid probably was, he had low self-esteem, low self-value. This can cause him to project someone else not, such a low value of life on others. People need to understand you got to be nice to people unless they do turn out to be snakes. You know what I'm saying? Kind of piggybacking off my last video I just came with tonight. But the occultists, they definitely know the significance of trauma. They understand it quite intricately, guys, and they understand that when you get into a mindset, trance-like, catatonic, dissociation, you are more easily mind controlled. Again, MK Ultra is not conspiracy theory, guys. It's well known, and it's something that the CIA has developed. It's just something to consider, guys, and you'd be surprised, man. Love can easily overcome hate. I truly believe that, guys. I truly believe that. And a lot of these people, they need help. You know what I'm saying? They need real help. They need real support, and they need real love. Just being somewhat valued to a certain degree can deter some of these individuals for going down this dark path. That's just something that I want people to consider. This is what they want. You know what I'm saying? And again, trauma and getting people to develop this type of level of dissociative type behavior, lack of being in reality and things like that, it's going to allow these people to do what they want even more. They can, you know what I'm saying? Again, I think this kid definitely was a sleeper. You have to be so out of reality and out of touch to get to this point where you thought this was something you should do, and it's just sad, just reading up on all the details and everything surrounding him. Again, I don't think there's a such thing as a lone wolf, and that's just not how the pattern of assassination has occurred in this country. You come to find out that these people did have help, and they did have some crazy association and ties to things that you wouldn't really believe. That's all I got to say for now, guys. Especially to your children, try to be loving, guys. Don't neglect them and things like that, because this starts at childhood. You know what I'm saying? That's where the mind is most effective and developed the most. It's the first 7 years that have the most impact on that individual. And I can just tell this kid, he was more and more isolated, probably felt he had both parents in this scenario, but there's been other spree shooters and things like that where, they're being raised by their grandmothers or something along that lines. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely starts early on, and you gotta raise that child right, man. And it's very important that this country gets back to traditional family ties, and people start valuing and loving their children again. Because I'm telling you, I know I've gone hard on women in this country because science and research backs up the facts that children are more prone to develop mental illness and things like that when raised in a single mother household. It's just the truth, guys. But in general, parents, I'm seeing some crazy things from mothers and fathers, guys, and just the neglect of these kids. And I'll say this again, the children are the martyrs. They are the true victims of this whole movement. You understand? They've always been the target, and in the Bible, you'll see this is always a pattern when something's about to happen and an enemy is shook. He definitely attacks the youth, guys. And we just have a bunch of these kids that could potentially be just like this kid and used for some evil things. And we got to cut down the trauma. Narcissism and things like that, cluster B personality disorders, are on the rise in this country, guys. And I'm telling you, this is just the secular terms of this crap. But even when you look at pagan cultures, guys, they knew the importance of trauma and having these children develop what is today called dissociative identity disorder. And it can lead to people being more easily influenced and things like that. Just something to consider. And I'm just going to start telling people, do this research on your own. Don't take my word for it. Look into this stuff on yourself, on your own. And, correct me in the comment sections and give me some ideas as well, guys. You know what I'm saying? We're all here for each other. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to you later. Bye.